The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management. It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs.
Good morning and welcome to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett. How are you today, Gene?
I'm great.
Good.
And you?
I'm doing fine. I love autumn. It's my favorite time of year.
Do you think we're there yet?
I think we are. It's cooled off. I haven't seen leaves changing yet, but I hear up on the North Shore they're starting to change, and it's about 32 degrees at night up there. So winter is coming.
It is coming soon. Well, it is great to have you folks with us here this morning. We are broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. Remember, Natural Green is a locally owned and operated lawn and landscape care company, and their mission to use the most environmentally sensitive products available to keep your lawn and landscape looking lush, beautiful, while still healthy for both people and pets. Whether you choose their organic program or their traditional program, rest assured they are always using horticulturally sound principles for great results. We're also brought to you this hour by Extreme Exteriors, Stone Valley Painting, and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. We've got a lot to cover on today's show, so let's get started with property management in the news. Property management in the news is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. Now, if you wish to avail yourself of special pricing and discounts you're not going to find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners can call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson at this number. Are you ready? 952-224-2663. Again, 952-224-2663. And ask Lori for your Where You Live with Gene and Tony special discount and pricing. Well, let's get going with our first story. And this is an interesting court case that took place. And I guess in my rush today to bring this news story to our listeners, Tony, I didn't get what state this is from, but I guess that's probably not germane to the issue. There's an interesting dynamic that took place here. There was a recent decision, a state Supreme Court or Superior Court justice who was asked to determine whether a condominium owner should be forced to move out and sell her unit because she's violent and inappropriate in her conduct towards board members and other homeowners. Have you heard of something like this?
We actually had a story earlier in the year, and I'm wondering if maybe this isn't the same lady, but there was someone that was so violent and so vile to her neighbors that the neighbors had really been complaining to the city and ultimately to the state. Yeah,
and this is what's interesting in this particular case here. It says evidence was presented by the association to the judge and showed that this individual, Ms. Hayes, had committed no less than 5 physical assaults on other owners and residents, and at least one of which was caught by the security cameras. And if they presented other evidence, I would imagine we're talking about testimony of a number of other people, probably.
Yep.
She engaged in verbal abuse, threats, intimidation directed at the board and also owners and the service providers to the condominium association.
Those poor lawn and landscape guys.
They always get it, don't they?
They catch some flack, that's true.
And here was the most interesting thing. Ms. Hayes presented no evidence to deny or contradict anything.
Yeah, this is why it reminds me of the other story, because the same thing was said. She didn't step forward with any reason for her conduct, much less any evidence that she didn't do it, right?
I guess she just felt that her actions in and of themselves were sufficient for to prove her point.
I don't know.
And so anyway, the court concluded, after listening to both sides here, that as this conduct was likely to damage property and cause injury to a person, so they recognize that, she may not have damaged property now, but these kind of actions will continue to lead on to that.
Yeah.
Nobody is injured now, but they could lead to that. The court also realized that they had violated a specific section of the Condominium Act in the state where this presided. Mm-hmm. The court also concluded that there was no doubt that this conduct constituted noise or nuisance which would disturb the comfort, the quiet enjoyment of the property by the other owners in violation of Rule 8 of the condominium rules in the association.
But now that's interesting, because those are also violations of most city ordinances. If you disturb the peace, correct?
Yes,
or if you
there.
assault your neighbors. So this story doesn't mention anything about police calls, but I betcha there were lots of police calls too.
But in spite of all of that, and that's a good point, it says the judge did not force this owner to sell, but rather opted to give her one last chance to redeem herself. He said, and this was a quote, he said, the judge said, "A forced sale is in many ways the ultimate and harshest remedy available. As such, it should be reserved for the most egregious case." I got to ask the question. What is more egregious than this? Does it have to get to the point of actual harm to an individual?
Well, right. It said she had committed 5 physical assaults on other owners. That's pretty darn egregious. I've lived in this world a long time and never been assaulted by a neighbor, thank God. So it's not a very common occurrence, I don't think. Mm-hmm. And if 5 physical assaults isn't enough, how many does it take to be considered an egregious case?
Yes, and he clearly said, hey, I know that this could lead to damage to the property, but does it have to mean that a house has got to burn down first? Before
right, that's
before
right.
something like this happens. So I wonder what's going on in this judge's mind.
Now let me ask you something, Gene.
Yeah.
I have to agree with the judge that this is an ultimate and harsh remedy to force her to sell and move. I think that is an extreme remedy. Do you think the Homeowners Association has the right to force a sale, or should have the right and authority to force a sale?
I personally, I think they should have the right to force the sale. I think that the governing documents of the association, a number that I have read, would lead it to say that the association does have the right to be able to do something like this. Probably not all are written, but should they have the right? When it gets down to this, I think they should, because we're talking about a contract, an agreement between a group of people who are living together. And, I think that there are certain responsibilities as well as rights and privileges that people have. Mm-hmm. And, one of the things that was interesting in this court case here, or in this article was written, it said here, the court did impose serious restrictions. Really? Here's what they said. They said here's the serious restrictions the court did impose by ordering her to be of good behavior. and keep the peace while on the property, and by prohibiting her from any uncivil, improper, illegal conduct that violates the act or declaration, the bylaws of the condominium. She was ordered to refrain from assaulting, verbal abuse, swearing, harassing, threatening, intimidating any member of the board. I got to ask you, is that imposing a serious restriction?
Well, it's what it is just enforcing what she already agreed to. She agreed to all of these things when she bought her home in this association.
Isn't it a fair assumption to say that these kinds of things are not a serious restriction, but just the outline of common decency among people?
Yeah, absolutely it is. And as I said, it's also stated in the declaration and the governing documents that you cannot disturb the peace. Now, the article does go on to say that the problem with orders like this is that they're difficult to enforce. Yeah. Well, no kidding. They're difficult to enforce. We can see that. This whole story proves that it's difficult to enforce the declaration.
Hey, we've got to take a quick break. Hold on to that thought. I know you've got more to say on that, and we certainly do. So we're going to take a couple of minutes here. You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280 The Patriot. Don't go away.